morning, Shriva Owls. Today we're looking at probability. Probability is the chance that an event will happen. So sometimes you might say to your friends, hey, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to do this. Or I bet that I am 99% sure this is going to happen. That is probability. So again, probability is the chance that an event will happen or take place. When we talk about probability, one key word is outcome. What is the outcome of the event or the situation or the experiment? An outcome is one of the possible results of a probability problem. So kind of like the answer or what you're solving for. When we talk about probability and outcome, there are a few key terms that help us consider the probability of an event happening. The first one is certain. If something is certain, that means that something will definitely happen. So if you look in this box here, if I were to pick any dot in this box, I am certain that it would be blue, because each dot in this box is the color blue, so it has to be blue. We're certain, 100%. Something can also be possible. So when something's possible, that means that it can happen. It's not a 100% chance it'll happen. It's not certain, but it is possible. So if I look at this box down here, and I think about picking out a blue dot, it's not a 100% chance because I also have an orange and a pink dot, but I could pick a blue dot out of this box. And last we have impossible. When we describe probability as impossible, that means that something that cannot happen. It simply can't be. So if you take a look at this box here, we have pink and orange dots. So picking out a blue dot from this box would be impossible. We wouldn't be able to do it. So in probability, when we look at the chance of an event happening, we want to think of the outcome. And we can describe the outcome in a few ways. We can be certain that something will definitely happen. Possible, something could happen. Or impossible, something cannot happen. Let's take a look at some examples. So we want to think about in probability, what are the chances? That's a question that you're going to ask yourself every time we solve a probability problem. And like we just talked about, we have certain, possible, and impossible as our types of outcomes. We can also think of it like on a number line. So if something is impossible, it means it couldn't happen. That would kind of be like 0. And if something is certain, that would kind of be like 100. So we can add 0 and 100. One way we can think about probability is in percents. If something's impossible, there's a 0% chance it will happen. If we're certain an event will happen, we're 100% sure. So 0 to 100%. Possible is right here in the middle. That's like a 50-50. So we can write 50%. And that's like, it could happen, it could not happen. What are the odds? There's also 2 other lines on my number line. And those are in between possible, impossible, and possible, and possible and certain. This line right here, in between 50% and 100%, we could categorize as more likely. If something's possible, we have like a 50% chance it'll happen. Something is more likely to happen. It has a greater chance than being possible, but we're still not quite there to certain. Similarly, if we have impossible and possible, and we have that halfway point between, an event that occurs around this area would be unlikely. It's less than 50% chance it'll happen, but not quite 0. But kind of we can think about rounding or estimating when we're working with probability as well, and describing probability. So you'll see that under each word, I have a circle that's cut into fourths. If we think about something that is certain, that's definitely going to happen. So all 4 fourths we will color in. Absolutely, that's definitely going to happen. If we think about impossible, it's not going to happen, so we're going to leave it blank. Nothing is colored in. Impossible, that halfway point is 50-50. We have a 50-50 chance. So we have nothing, 50-50, 100%. In between 50% and 100% is 75%, or 3/4. Something is more likely to happen. We still have that 50% possibility, plus just a little bit more. So we have 3 of our 4 fourths colored in. If something is unlikely to happen, it's less than that 50%, but not quite 0. So we have 1/4 colored in. So you'll see we start with nothing colored in, that percent chance being 0 or nothing, and we work our way up all the way to 100% or 4/4, a lot of different ways to represent this certainty. When we think about outcomes, there's also a lot of different types of outcomes. We can also talk about if something is fair or not, a fair game. We can have experimental probability, or we can use probability in fractions. We can use fractions to represent probability as well. This is stuff that we will be exploring this week. When we think about calculating probability, we know all of our key vocabulary terms, but then we have to actually figure out what the probability is. What we're going to do is we're going to have probability equals, so the chance of an event happening is equal to the number of ways that the event occurs over the total number of all possible events. Let's take a look at what that might look like. Over here you'll see I have, what is the probability of landing on a 4? So if I were to roll a dice or spin a wheel and throw a dart, I want to know what are the chances that my dart or my dice would land on the number 4. You'll notice here there's only 1 4. So that goes up to my number of ways the event can occur. There's only 1 4, and that's it. So that's the number of ways that the event can occur, or the event can happen, just once, because there's only 1 4. But if we take a look at my circle, there's 1 2 3 4. There's 4 numbers. So the total number of all possible events is 4. Because if I throw a dart or I roll my dice onto my circle, the chances of it landing on 4 are only 1. But it could land on the 3 other numbers. So the probability of landing on 4, of the number 4, is 1/4. Because I only have one number 4 out of the 4 numbers on the circle. We can also do something similar when we roll dice. We have, what is the probability of rolling a number 6? So if you think about a dice, which is a cube, so it has those 6 different faces. One face is going to have the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, the number 5, and the number 6. So every time you roll a dice, there's only 1 6 on it. So our number of ways our event can occur, or the number of ways we can roll a 6, is only 1. It would have to land on that one side every time. But, like we just said, if we think about the total number of all possible events, and we know that a dice has 6 faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The total number of possible events is 6. So I can roll it, and it could land 6 different ways, but the only time that it will land on the number 6 is this one time. So the probability of rolling a number 6 is 1/6, or 1 out of 6. If you have any questions, please ask your homeroom teacher or myself or another 5th grade teacher, and we would be happy to help you. And always come back and take a look at this video again if you need that. So have a great week. We'll see you soon.